I was never a very good practical joker.
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biggest accidental deaths in horror movies.
Don't think about doing it, Lewis. The place gets hold of you. The place is evil.
For this list, we'll be looking at the craziest and most shocking horror movie deaths that came about by accident. Since we'll be discussing the fates of characters, a spoiler alert is in order. Which of these deaths did you find the most unpredictable? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, Lou Farmer, Prom Night.
Are you crazy? They'll put us in jail. If we tell anyone, they'll say it's our fault. Who believe it was an accident?
Released in the midst of the slasher craze, Prom Night follows a group of high school seniors who are being hunted down during their prom. One of their students is Lou Farmer, who is asked to the prom by a jealous ex-girlfriend named Wendy Richards. Wendy's ex-boyfriend, Nick McBride, is crowned the prom king. But Lou ties him up and steals the crown for himself.
It's time. What about Wendy? Screw her. I'll just have sweet Kim all to myself.
The killer in turn mistakes Lou for Nick and leaves him without a head for his crown. The killer, Alex Hammond, was specifically targeting Nick, as Nick was partly responsible for the death of Alex's fraternal twin sister 6 years earlier.
They killed her. They killed her.
Number 9, Gage Creed, Pet Sematary.
Sometimes dead is better. You see, Lewis, what I'm getting at. You understand.
Stephen King personally believes that Pet Sematary is his scariest novel, and it's not hard to see why. Not only is it viscerally horrifying with zombie-like beings, but it also touches on very real-world fears surrounding tragic and meaningless death. The story concerns the Creed family, who move to Ludlow, Maine, and inhabit a house next to a busy highway.
You want to watch out for that road. Them damn trucks go back and forth all day and most of the night.
One day, toddler Gage is flying a kite when the spool gets away from him. Chasing after it, Gage runs into the middle of the highway and is hit by a speeding truck. It's an all too common occurrence, and his sickening death proves a little too realistic for many readers and viewers.
I'm responsible for more pain in your heart than you should have tonight. For all I know, I may even be responsible for the death of your son.
Number 8, Bill Murray, Zombieland.
This is so surreal. I mean, you probably get this all the time. Maybe not lately, but I'm such a huge fan of yours.
After encountering con artists Little Rock and Wichita, Columbus and Tallahassee, learn that the sisters are traveling to Pacific Playland in Los Angeles. Following a fun little road trip through the United States, the group finally arrives in Hollywood, and Tallahassee has the bright idea to hunker down in Bill Murray's mansion.
What exactly do you think we're doing in the 90210, Sally?
Kind of picture Tom Cruise living somewhere nicer.
B-lister compared to who I got in mind, folks.
While there, he joyfully discovers that the iconic funny man is still alive and thriving. Unfortunately, Murray decides to play a prank on the paranoid Columbus and approaches him groaning like a zombie. Columbus, in turn, springs up and shoots Murray straight through the chest. Luckily, he is able to voice his regret about doing Garfield before passing away.
If it means anything now, I am so sorry. It's just instinctive.
It was my bad. I was never a very good practical joker.
Number 7, Mike, The Strangers.
Why are you doing this to us?
Partly inspired by the Manson Tate murders of 1969, The Strangers follows couple James Hoyt and Kristen McKay as they are stalked by 3 masked assailants outside their secluded summer home. Before the intrusion begins, James phoned his friend Mike and asked for a ride in the morning. When Mike arrives a few hours later, he finds James's vandalized car and enters the house to investigate.
Hello? Jimmy?
By this point, James had long been the tormented subject of the assailants, and believing that Mike is one of them, James accidentally shoots him in the face with a shotgun. It was a great shot, just not on the right person.
What is it?
Stay there.
James, answer
Number 6. The Teens. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
You guys, going camping?
A brilliant subversion of the traditional slasher movie, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil concerns two friendly hillbillies who are mistaken for slasher movie villains by a group of teenagers. Most of their well-meaning actions are misinterpreted by the teens, and they are often blamed for the teens' own accidental yet incredibly violent deaths.
No! Ah, we got your friend! Oh God! They got Allison!
For example, Mitch runs into and impales himself on a tree branch, and Mike dives into a wood chipper while trying to kill Tucker. The movie finds increasingly creative ways to depict accidental deaths, and it makes for hilarious viewing.
The friends are probably fine. Oh, we're just a little misunderstanding, that's all.
Oh God!
Help us!
Chloe?
She's dead! They died!
Number 5. Paul and Jessica Carter. The Descent.
I mean, look at you. Everything's gonna be fine. Better. It's gonna be great.
Written and directed by Neil Marshall, The Descent is a claustrophobic horror film set in a dark and unexplored cave system. A woman named Sarah and a small group of her adventurous friends decide to go spelunking in the Appalachians of North Carolina. Sarah is still traumatized over the tragic deaths of her husband Paul and young daughter Jessica.
How is she? Well, she's here. One step at a time, eh?
1 year earlier, Paul was driving the family home from a whitewater raft when he became distracted by Sarah and veered the car into oncoming traffic. The scene is straight out of Final Destination, as both Paul and Jessica are impaled on copper pipes that fly off the other car's roof.
I'm sorry. She's gone. I'm sorry.
Number 4. Drake. Aliens.
Vasquez. You're just too bad.
Poor Drake is one of the first people to die in James Cameron's seminal Aliens, and it's not a pleasant way to go either. Before investigating the atmosphere processing plant, the Marines are ordered to give up their ammunition and deactivate their weapons to prevent bullets from damaging the reactor.
Look, we can't have any firing in there. I want you to collect magazines from everybody.
Vasquez disobeyed orders and produced backup ammo for their guns without the knowledge of her superior. During the resulting pandemonium with the Hive, an alien gets the drop on an unsuspecting Drake. Vasquez shoots the alien to save her good friend, but its exploding head sends a spray of acid blood into Drake's face. Number 3. Judge Holden. Saw 3.
It is also the key that will bring you closer to the man accountable for taking your child. He doesn't have much time, Jeff. Let the game begin.
The Saw franchise is full of accidental deaths, like the crime scene photographer who randomly gets a spike through the head in Saw 4. But perhaps the most memorable accidental death is the one belonging to Judge Holden. Holden is saved from a vat of rotting pig guts by Jeff, who burns his son's belongings in an incinerator. They team up for the next test involving drunk driver Timothy Young.
To your right is a box. At the back of the box is a key. It's tied to the trigger of a shotgun.
Jeff goes to retrieve a key that has been tied to the trigger of a shotgun, while Holden fiddles with the contraption that is twisting Timothy's limbs. Unfortunately, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, as he is hit by the shotgun after Jeff retrieves the key.
Got the key.
Number 2. Bo Abbott. A Quiet Place. Poor Reagan just wanted to make her little brother happy. In a world populated by monsters with hypersensitive hearing, any little noise could prove to be a death knell. This is why Lee reluctantly takes a space shuttle toy away from his 4-year-old son, Bo. But feeling bad for her little brother, Reagan secretly gives it back to him. Unfortunately, Bo activates the loud toy while the family is walking home. And despite Lee's noble effort, he is swiped and carried away by one of the monsters. The violent death of a 4-year-old is one hell of a depressing way to start a movie.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Ben, Night of the Living Dead.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
George A. Romero revolutionized the horror genre with Night of the Living Dead, and the groundbreaking zombie film contains one of the bleakest endings in horror movie history. Nearly every character dies in the climactic break-in, and Ben proves the only survivor. After spending all night in the cellar, Ben carefully emerges and investigates the sound of gunfire.
We want to get about 4 or 5 men and a couple dogs. There's a house over here behind those trees. We want to go check it out.
He spies on an armed posse that is dealing with the zombies, but when one of the riflemen spots him outside the house, they mistake him for another zombie and shoot him in the head. His body is thrown onto a bonfire, and the movie ends on a truly horrifying and pessimistic note.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.